Hey everyone, welcome to another study prep video. In this video, we'll talk about how we can prioritize several topics in our IIT JAM preparation journey. And today's topic is cell biology. We would analyze last 5 years question. We would pick up the trends. We would understand which topics and concepts we need to focus. And according to that, I would help you to make a planner. Along with that, we would solve some questions and I will give you some tips and tricks about the resources, and I have one announcement as well. So if you have watched my last video, we have talked about the priority of topics. For cell biology, I said, okay, these topics are listed according to the priority order. But the question is how I have created this list. And it is based on the trend analysis, and today we would justify that this particular list is really important. So stay tuned till the end. One step at a time. So let me tell you how we can make weekly planner and what resources you can use. So the best resources for cell biology part, in my opinion, would be Lodish, Cell Biology by Lodish, or Bruce Alberts. Now, along with these basic resources, basic textbook, because there is no supplement towards these textbooks, there could be something which would help to test your concept, that whether you really learned a concept or not. And here we introduce Unacademy. In Unacademy, you would get a lot of batch courses, a lot of tests, which would help you to understand how much your preparation has progressed. So let me tell you that one batch for IIT JAM Biotechnology would be launched on 8 March 2021, and this batch would help you for your journey towards IIT JAM 2022. Okay, this batch is Achievers batch, and you can see this batch would be taught by expert faculties and previous rankers in this examination. So you would love the way they would teach and present this topic to you. There would be structured courses and classes. There would be study planner which would help you to achieve your milestone, and it would really give you a sense that you are mentored properly. The doubt clearing sessions would really help to clear your doubt, and there would be a sense that you are getting a personalized mentoring session. Now back to our content. So we talked about these priority orders and how we have chosen it. Okay, so in the first topic that we have chosen is cell signaling, right? Now cell signaling, why I chose it as a first topic. At the end of this video it would be clear. So first of all, we look at two things: reliability of that topic. That means if we look at the question paper of last 5 years, how reliably a question had come from that particular topic, and what is the spread of the topic. That means how much time I need to spend on that topic to grasp it, right? So for example, if I say the cell organelles, there are quite a lot of organelles, it is quite a lot of chapters, right? And there is no reliability in each year. One year they might ask question from cell organelles, next year they might not. So I would choose the topics which are reliably asked almost every year. So if you really analyze the papers, every year you would see there is a question from cell signaling. Now let's focus on the broad topic cell signaling, get into more details. Now cell signaling is a vast topic itself. Even inside cell signaling, they focus more on G protein coupled receptors or MAP kinase pathway or nuclear receptor signaling. So it's really now getting narrowed down, right? So you are getting a sense that how you can modulate your preparation. Now until and unless I give you some example, it won't be clear. So let's jump into some examples. Okay, let's analyze a question from 2018. It says, of the following statement are correct for G protein coupled receptor signaling. So you can see the question number, which is 33. That means it would be a MSQ type question, right? So the option A is GPCR contains 7 transmembrane padding regions. GPCR are linked to heterotrimeric G protein consisting alpha, beta and gamma subunits. In absence of GPCR interacting ligand, alpha subunit of G protein is bound to GTP and complexed with beta gamma subunit. In presence of GPCR, GPCR interacting ligand, GTP is displaced from the alpha subunit, and G protein so in presence of GPCR interacting ligand, GTP is displaced from the alpha subunit of G protein by GDP, and GDP bound alpha subunit dissociates from beta gamma dimer and activates the effector. So these questions are linguistic type. That means while I was reading this question, you see there is at least 30 seconds it took for me to read the question. So obviously in an exam mode I would read it faster, but you see a lot of time would be wasted on reading these things. So you need to increase your reading capability, and textbook learning helps that. Like once you read the textbook, you know how to really read fast. Now in this question, if you're aware of MSQ type question, that there would be more than one option which can be correct. So the correct options are A and B. So now let me give you a quick explanation why. So option C says, in absence of GPCR interacting ligand, alpha subunit of G protein binds to GTP, which is not correct. So when ligand is bound to the receptor, only then conformational change happens, and the G protein actually replace its GDP with GTP, right? So this thing only happens in a ligand binding dependent manner, right? So that is why the option C cannot be true. Then it says, in presence of GPCR interacting ligand, GTP is displaced from alpha subunit of G protein by GDP, right? So it should be GDP which is replaced. This thing is replaced, and in place of GDP you get GTP, right? So that is why particular is also incorrect. Okay, now we understand how to handle and what depth they have in this question. They go really deep. They just wanted to know that whether you have an idea about G protein coupled receptor signaling or not, and that's all. So if you look at this scheme, and I have multiple of these schemes in Unacademy and my YouTube videos, so do watch that. You get a quick idea, right? Do read the textbook, but also use some audiovisual cues. So here I talked about GS signaling, but there are also GQ framework of signaling, which is important. Both are important for IIT JAM. Okay. Now another aspect which is really important, which would now in some years question, I'll tell you that is this particular concept. So G alpha subunit was GDP bound in an inactivated state. So you can imagine it to be a switched off state. Now whenever it exchange its GDP with GTP with the help of guanosine nucleotide exchange, it gets activated of a turned on state. But it cannot be on for a long time. So the reverse is also true. That means somebody really hydrolyzed the GTP and forms the bound state, which is state. So this switch, this switch can be on and off, and the players that helps in this process are GAF and GAP. So based on this concept, they can ask you a question. So this was asked in 2017. So the binding of a hormone to receptor activates adenylate cyclase through a stimulatory G protein. So again they are talking about GS signaling. If due to a mutation G protein binds but does not hydrolyze the GTP, what would be the consequence of it, right? So you would understand, right? Adenylate cyclase would be continuously active, because once this G alpha subunit is unable to hydrolyze its GTP, it would interact with adenylate cyclase and ATP would get converted to cyclic AMP. Now guys, if you are not really familiar with cell signaling and can't understand these things properly, you can go back to cell signaling playlist given in the I button, so you can get an overview of all the cell signaling. Okay, that's the best part of YouTube. You can always click on a video and you can pause it and get back to it. So particular concept was really useful, and let me tell you, many infections such as cholera toxin, the AB toxin, actually locks the G protein in a GTP bound state. So what AB toxin does from cholera, so it really ADP ribosylate the G alpha subunit. So this modification locks the G protein in an intuitively active form, means it cannot hydrolyze its G. And as a result, cyclic AMP is generated ample quantity, and there is a chloride channel which opens cyclic AMP and protein kinase A dependent manner, which ultimately huge water loss, which is evident in collagen. Okay, which of the following characteristics of a receptor for lipid soluble hormones? So now about what they are talking about, nuclear receptors, and this was asked in 2017, right? So obviously they talked about G protein coupled receptor signaling, which is most important, but apart from that, you have to also learn about the nuclear receptors. How would you get videos on nuclear receptor? It is already present in my other channel. You can click on the link, so the whole playlist is there in the I button. Okay, so here these three options would be correct. Why? Because this is a structure of nuclear receptor, where you can see there is a transcription activation domain, actually two of them. There is a ligand and dimerization domain, and there is a DNA binding domain. So they dimerize with each other while functioning. So that is why, right? So see this option B as a heterodimer, right, or homodimer. So many work like a heterodimer or in a homodimer fashion. Okay, now they are mostly located in cytoplasm or nucleus. That's true, they are not present in the cell surface, right? And they are transcription factors. Yes, they do have a DNA binding domain, so they are transcription factors. So all these options are correct. So again, another MSQ question. So see the benefit. Each year, almost each year, they ask a question. This 2021, they also have asked a cell signaling, and also in the section. So if you are able to answer this correctly, you gain 2 marks, and that's brilliant, right? Okay, now let's move on. The detailed discussion about nuclear receptor you can find in another video, so I'm not discussing in details, but this kind of like overview would help you to understand, okay, I have to read this topic, I have to solve as a priority, etc. So here that steroid hormone receptor cytosolic, they are held in the cytosol with the help of HSP90, but when the ligand binds, it moves to the nucleus and activates transcription, so they can work like a transcription factor. Thyroid hormones are different. They are located in the nucleus. When thyroid hormone goes into the nucleus, now they can work like a transcription factor. The details can be found in other videos. Now they also ask question from apoptosis necrosis. So the next topic you need to sort out in your list is apoptosis. Okay, put it in your list. Okay. Again, another question they have asked from cell signaling part is the intracellular messengers formed by activation of phosphoinositide cascade are phosphatidyl 1,4,5 bisphosphate, inositol 1,4,5 trisphosphate, diacylglycerol, inositol triphosphate. So these questions are really important, and here the correct option would be IP3 and DAG. So let me tell you what the signaling pathway is, but before that, let me highlight that same question in a different flavor they have asked in 2018 as well. Which of the following statements are true for phosphoinositide signaling cascade? Phospholipase A catalyzed cleavage of PIP2, generation of IP3 transiently increased calcium concentration, 2 plus facilitate the activation of protein kinase C, DAG always activates protein kinase A. So forget about the solution of this question, but you can see you need to understand this phosphoinositide cascade in bit details, because they are asking question on that part, right? And you can see there is a reliability in terms of asking this question. Okay, so the correct option would be B and C. You would get a sense why. So again, look at 2015. There was a question similar. The organelle which functions as a store of calcium is endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi, endosome, or nucleus. So it would be endoplasmic reticulum, guys. So this is the signaling pathway that they wanted you to understand. So this is GQ coupled receptors. So upon ligand binding, there would be activation of these GPCRs, which leads to a conformational change, and the G alpha subunit dissociate from this trimer and activates phospholipase C. which cleaves PIP2 into IP3 and DAG. Now IP3 is a diffusible substance. It can move and bind to IP3 receptor, which ultimately leads to influx of calcium in the cytoplasm, and that calcium elevation can activate protein kinase C or other kinases. So this is really important. This particular concept is important. So now what you are going to do, you are going to make a priority list. So now once you open the topic of cell signaling from a cell biology book, you would not get lost. You know that, okay, I have to read the entire chapter, but I have to focus on GPCR signaling, phosphoinositide signaling, second messengers, etc. Right? So this thing is now in your head. Now next time you would not be lost and you would not be reading the chapter from top to bottom in an aimless fashion, right? You would be more targeted towards understanding those topics in details. Exactly. So this is how I'm saying that you need to study smart. Here is another question asked in 2015, that the preferred ligand of SH2 domain is serine phosphorylated peptide, tyrosine phosphorylated peptide, glucose 6-phosphate, cyclic AMP, and the correct option would be phosphorylated tyrosine. So let me tell you, this is MAP kinase pathway. I have a detailed video about that, so you can again click on the I button to get a sense of that. But there are adapter proteins like GRB2 which recognize phosphorylated receptor at the tyrosine residues with its SH2 domain. So these adapter proteins have that SH2 domain which works like a recognition motif. So various proteins, adapters, transcription factors might have these SH2 domain. It's not only limited to adapters. So I have other videos dedicated for MAP kinase signaling pathway, which tells you how this pathway was discovered, what are the nitty-gritty details about this pathway. Everything is there in the I button. Okay, then analyze a second important topic. Like if we now move a little bit from cell signaling and try to understand which other topic is important, in second priority list I have talked about cell division, etc. right? So here they have talked about another thing which falls under cell organelle. I'll discuss this later, but see this thing. This was a common trend. You understand? See, the correct sequence of the during mitosis is, they have given something. And in previous year they have asked which of the following figures represent the correct sequence of phase in eukaryotic cell cycle. So obviously about cell cycle they are asking question, and majorly they are asking superficial question, the sequences, what happens in each stage, etc. right? Details of that again you can get in my playlist, which is given in the I button. But yeah, you can understand this is a trend, right? And you are going to analyze this trend. Next, another important factor that was asked in many exams was which one of the following statement is correct. I mean, it talks about Taxol and colchicine. These are microtubule related or microtubule or other cytoskeletal element related. So right now you should make a list of it. Okay, what Taxol does, what colchicine does, what colcimide does, right? Whether it affects actin or whether it affects like other kind of like microtubule elements, etc. right? So right now I'm not solving this question, but telling you that these particular type of question might allow you to understand, okay, if I read the cell signaling chapter or cell division chapter, on which topics I need to focus, right? So right now you understand the justification behind like putting cell signaling in the top priority, then cell division, and then organelles, etc. right? So let me tell you, in 2017 they have asked a question from organelles. They're basically asking the function of those organelles like nucleolus, peroxisome, plasmodesmata, etc. right? So you just need to know about them. Again, right now let's just not focus on to their answers and everything. In other videos we would do it, but the goal of this video is to understand what to read in the first place. Look at 2017. So we talked about 2019 and 2020's question, and now we move to 2017. Again, they are saying during eukaryotic cell division, the amount of DNA doubles in which phase? Basically, replication happens in which phase, right? So again, they are getting back to the events that happen in the process of cell cycle. So cell cycle is a chapter for your jam, right? Now, just to clarify, 2016 they have asked, during mitosis, disappearance of nuclear last is a hallmark of given particular stages, right? Anaphase, prophase, telophase, etc. So you need to know what exactly is that, what events happen in these particular phases, what are the signature events, etc. So while you read the IRT jam, while you read the chapter for IRT jam, now you know, okay, let's say I'm talking about metaphase, there would be a lot of informations, but the relevant information from an exam point of view would be these. So I would sort it out differently and make a complete different notes. So once somebody is really making the notes for you, you totally ignore these kind of factors. But this is super important. This makes you independent. Yep. So right, not moving too much towards other questions, but what this video tells you in short, that how you can start your preparation, and while starting your preparation, what are the factors you can keep in your mind while reading for that. So read a chapter. For example, I would advise you to like read cell signaling for a month, then keep on like taking tests to understand and to retrieve the information that you have learned, right? With that, I'll say goodbye to you guys, and you can always subscribe to Unacademy using my code EPI10. You'd get a 10% discount, and a lot of videos are there in Unacademy. My structured course on cell biology can be found in Unacademy, so you would love it, and people have 100% positive reviews about that. So with that, I'll say goodbye to you guys. See you in the next video.